Hey guys, what's up? So I got the Nitro Slasher on my little workbench table deal, and I've been thinking lately since I converted the Revo to a 4S brushless system, which the trans gears I did order. I just got the plastic ones for right now because I don't have $100 to spend on metal gears. So hopefully the plastics last. They're $10 if anything. If they don't, I'll just save the money and get them the metal ones later on. Not a big deal. So hopefully soon I could get some runtime out of that. But so for the Slash, when I was looking at motor mounts for this before I found this Integy motor mount that goes in place of the stock mount, I found one that kind of looks like a uh, kind of a normal, motor mount that just like takes place of the stock mounting location for the motor. It like bolts up. Let me see. It would bolt up on top of this. This is the stock mount for the Revo, so that plate would actually bolt on here. So what I was thinking is, since they use the same 3.3 motor, what I might be able to do is get the basic brushless motor mount for the Revo and possibly somehow make it work with this Slash. Um, Now looking at it, I might have to do a little bit of modifying. Not a huge deal. I know motor's got to come off. The fuel tank has to come out, for extra room. Possibly might be able to make it a battery tray. It looks like it would work just fine. I'll have to figure out ESC location, which honestly could probably go where the pipe is or on the other side, because that servo will be taken out. It's already got the receiver up here, so I'm not worried about that. But I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is pull the motor off of this. It's just exhaust, fuel line, disconnect the wires for the easy start, and then probably just pull the mount bolts out. Unless there's some, there's a couple underneath. I may just pull those. I'm not sure exactly yet, but I'll probably just pull these off so I could pull the whole thing off at once. The main reason I'm thinking of doing this is I've been having problems with this motor, and right now I'm kind of to the point with the Nitro stuff where I just don't feel like messing with it right now. Like, I have these, I got an XTM here, and then a HPI Savage down there. XTM runs, but of course I don't have the, it's got a roto starter kit on it, and I don't have the bit for it. It's in my, at my dad's and his box of stuff, because these are technically his. I'm just fixing them for him. And then this one, this is a Kyosho Nitro car as well, and it's an older car. It's always going to stay Nitro. I don't want to mess with it too much. It's four-wheel drive, belt drive, something to kind of putt around with. It's not super fast, but so like I was thinking, switch it over to electric, make it a little easier. I've already found, so the spur gear here is a 32 pitch. I'm going to order some. I don't have any here. I honestly may go to my local hobby shop and just grab a couple of them. I do have a couple motors and speed controllers. Well, I have one motor and two speed controllers, because when I originally set up the Revo, I had this one on there, but it snapped the shaft off. So now it's just decoration, along with those two Nitro motors. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this motor off and be right back. I would film it, but I don't have a tripod right now, so I'll be back. Alright guys, so I got the motor pulled off. It's right here, and I'm looking at it. I don't see anything too wrong with the outside. I mean, I know it's a little bit dirty. Looks like got gunk on the carburetor, maybe a little leak or something. But I did notice this. One of the cooling fins like snapped halfway off. And then I'm looking at it, wondering why this thing had like weird running issues. I think one of the bearings inside might have went, or piston shot something, because it gets a really bad tight spot, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like drippy, if that makes sense. and it doesn't want to move. So definitely had an issue there, because it would run, but it would only run if you had the igniter up there. Like if you're holding the button on it while running it and giving it gas. I mean, so maybe one of these days it'll go back to nitro, but for now I do want to try and convert it to electric, just because I think it'd be pretty neat. I have done a little bit of research, but I haven't seen anyone actually convert the car to nitro. I've seen people ask questions about it, and everyone's like, "Oh, just buy a electric slash and then keep this nitro." But I like messing around, so I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm gonna get this pipe and the fuel tank off. I'll probably do a fuel tank after I get another clip, but I'll get the pipe off. I'll get the easy start thing out and the rest of this motor mount out. So I'll be back. Alright guys, so I got the pipe, the motor mount the rest of the way off, that servo, and easy start control. And I did take the receiver box off because I had to pull some wires. I'm going to pull the switch and everything out of here to actually put in the XTM. And then next thing I'm going to do is pull the fuel tank out, figure out what size battery will fit. I wonder if possibly this 3S may fit in there. It looks like it may be close. We'll find out. If not, I have some 2S, or I could get a few different 3S ones, not a big deal, but this looks like it'd be a perfect battery tray. So, what I'm hoping is, just to make it easy, I'll grab this broken motor. I should be able to set something up, figure out a spot for it, get a pinion. That motor should fit perfect right there with that mount. The only thing is, I'm not exactly sure on how high the mount sits. So, let me go ahead and pull this fuel tank out and probably pull this stuff apart, and I will be back. Real quick, with the motor mount, to get the actual bottom piece out, because it's like 3 separate pieces for this motor mount. It sits in there like this. Sits in that slot there. Down here, you have to loosen the differential housing and at least half of the fuel tank mount to actually have enough room to kind of wiggle it out, since it is sort of like tight in here in the groove, and then it's wedged under these two. So I'll be back. Let me pull the fuel tank out, see what we can do. Alright guys, so this is where I'm at. I got everything off that needs to be off. I got the switch back here out, all the wiring besides the receiver and main steering servo. So I have this motor, and then I have this speed controller. Now originally I was thinking of leaving the receiver here, but now thinking about it, the speed controller looks like it'll fit perfectly in there. I will have to probably cut and extend these wires to reach the motor, which is not a huge deal. I don't really want to do it, but it is what it is. Not that big of a deal. This motor looks like it'll fit in there just fine. I'll have to play around with the mounting, because depending on where it sits, it will be kind of close. We'll get to that when we get there. If anything, I could always possibly cut this bracket, or actually just unbolt it. It's just held in by these 2 screws, and remove it, and then kind of clearance it if I need to. I could figure that out. So what I'm thinking is I will take the receiver, put it in the stock battery box where the AA's would be. It should fit in there just fine. It's got a slot underneath to run wires. So I'll probably do that, and then I'll probably move the antenna back here as well, just so it's out of the way. Although I won't have a grub screw or anything to keep it in, but that's not a huge deal. As long as the hole is just undersized, it'll stay in just fine. I did notice this chassis is a little thin. Like, the shocks are really stiff right now just from the Nitro motor. I could soften them up now that it's not in here. It'll be a little bit lighter, but I did notice it does flex just a little bit on the back half. So you could buy these chassis for decently cheap. I was thinking of getting one and just doing another chassis underneath, like essentially it, you know, the second chassis would be like a brace. So I might do that. I also might just look into getting a making a strip of metal to kind of go from the front to back. That could be a option as well, just because it is relatively thin. Actually, here, I'll grab my cheapo Harbor Freight calipers. Right now we are in inches. Let me zero it out. It's at 0.9 inch, which is, come on now, roughly 2.5 millimeter. Not super thick, so hopefully if I don't end up plating it or anything before I start messing with it, jumping it, hopefully it doesn't bend. If it does, it's not a big deal. The chassis are cheap. I believe they're like 20-30 bucks. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this to the rear and then probably get this kind of figured out where I want it and extend these wires. I'll probably just end up cutting the leads off of that motor just so I could use them as like extensions. But I will be back in a minute. I'm gonna move that receiver and try and figure out this speed controller. Alright, so I got these wires extended. I just used the wires off the other team associated Reedy motor I had. So they're all soldered and there's heat shrink. I just wrapped electrical tape on them just to keep them together for the time being. So now I'm going to fit it in the car and sort of run the wires where they need to go. And I also still have to mount the receiver in the battery tray back here. So let me do that. Alright guys, so I got ESC mounted, all the wires ran, servo wires. I want to figure out something with these. I do have another extension wire if I need to kind of rotate it over or whichever way, but I don't want to secure these down till the motor is firmly mounted because they'll most likely be in my way. I have the receiver taped down in there with just double-sided tape, same with the ESC, but I mean, ESC, they're not going anywhere. Everything is binded, so, and the steering should have the gyro. I'm not sure if it's on exactly the correct one. One of these is gyro, one's not. I think this one might be. There it goes. So if you have the TQI with the TSM, it's the first channel one, not the second. So the first one is your standard with gyro. The second one is no gyro. If you want it or not. For like crawlers, you probably really don't need them. Yeah, and then just ESC to channel 2, and then you can pretty much do anything else with the other ones. The body I have does have a light bar on it. I don't know if I'm going to end up running it. I might take it off. I do want to get a new body. I'll probably end up just grabbing this one or one of the Pro line ones for this thing, since it's not really the Nitro Slash anymore. I don't have to have all these massive holes in it, and the Fox body looks pretty good on these. Like this one's all cut to fix that 8 scale XTM down here, which may be doing a video on that soon. I should have the parts to fix the control arms for it, but I'm gonna go through and set up everything on the Link app, because if you could tell, The throttle trim still a little bit off. Steering trim's all good. I could adjust that on the remote. That's not a big deal. But I want to get that throttle trim set up and set all my options for this. So I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so I got everything sort of kind of where it's going to go. ESC is solid. Got the wires ran. Motor's going to end up there, roundabout. The receiver is tucked inside the old battery box. And I have the antenna. I just drilled a hole, put a little tire glue right there. So some Protect CA. Just to hold it in, since it doesn't have a grub screw right there. And I just tucked it up under the bumper so it doesn't hit the body. It should be okay. And then everything is in there. I have, through the link app, everything is set up already. I just did that. It's your on-off switch right there. So, show you, it turns on. It does have the 3S in it right now. Not sure if that's what I'll be running. Probably. We'll find out. So all I need now is a pinion, and I gotta figure out motor mount, which honestly shouldn't be too bad. From what I can see, I may have to fill that stock clutch or flywheel hole where the stock motor flywheel would go through. Not a huge deal, but I also may not have to do that. I just got to figure out, once I get that mount, kind of where it'll sit. And I probably will have to remove this, because even with no mount, it barely, like, it'll fit in there, but you got to shove it. And I don't want to do that. So I do need to figure out some way to secure the battery in here. I was thinking maybe just getting a Velcro strap and kind of maybe cutting a groove in it, but I might also, like one of those Velcro straps that are on the Revo. I'm gonna do some thinking, figure out what I want to do for that, but that's that for probably for now. I do have to fix the crawler. I did a video on this the other day. I took it out yesterday, messing around, kind of just bashing it, and I broke the axle carrier deal, whatever you want to call them. So I gotta fix that. Not a big deal. I'm just gonna steal one off the rear, put it up front. But so I might do a video on that. If I do, it'll either be out today as well, or I'll see if I can schedule it for tomorrow. But yeah, so that's what's going on with the Nitro Slash. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.